the monster of Lucky Duck Lake.
So they let the mayor know about their discovery, and I guess because she's in politics, her first reaction is to cover it up.
You mean to tell me that he came out of that polluted lake? Bud, hang up.
Dear?
Now, if we call the newspaper owned by Bluffco and tell them we've got a story that Bill Bluff is a polluter, someone will kill the story. And let's just say it won't be good for Herman either.
Being the mayor, it's not like I have any possible power to fix this problem at all, so I guess we're stuck. Get a clue! Get a clue, you moron! Get a clue! But she does decide to hold a press conference the next day to show the monster on her terms. So Doug tells Patty about what's going on, right in front of Guy, who's good friends with Mr. Bluff.
We have proof Mr. Bluff's polluting the lake.
I wouldn't go around saying stuff you can't prove.
Well, I've got proof.
Dumbass! How much of a dumbass are you? In fact, if you look up dumbass in the dictionary, you'll find a picture of... Well, should be you in there!
Well, you better watch yourself. Mr. Bluff got us into Funky Town to have a dance.
Stop saying Funky Town! It's a G-rated flick! Learn to pronounce your N's!
You'll see tomorrow. It's going to be big news.
But when the day of the big news conference arrives, Doug thinks there's something suspicious about all the reporters. Gee, what could have given him that idea? Maybe because they're all dressed like Robert Stack Flashers?
Thank you, Mayor Tippy. Sorry, always wanted to do that on TV.
You're a waste of thought. So, to save the monster, Doug totally bails on the news conference.
Something's not right. I think we made a big mistake.
Mr. Bunny, is this your idea of a joke?
I'm sorry, I gotta go now.
I knew it. Sea monsters, right.
I can't believe it. I had no idea Doug would lie like that.
I say we judge strictly by how it looks and in no way question motivation or character.
So after they find out that the reporters did indeed work for Mr. Bluff, and that it was just a plan to capture the monster, the mayor's plan is going to be A. Have Bluff arrested, B. Document all that she can through video and eyewitnesses that the monster is real, or C. Have some of Bud's famous leftover meatloaf.
Now, what do you say we have some of Bud's famous leftover meatloaf?
Now you're talking. Let's go, boy.
Am I on Mars? Tell me I'm on Mars! None of this makes any goddamn sense! I must be on Mars! I mean, this is as logical as Roger and his friends actually making that giant robot they were talking about. Oh, what? You never did this in high school? I did it all the time! Right after I made the honor roll in Muggle Studies!
Didn't you look at my plan? It's supposed to be this big compared to me.
But it's okay. They have a shrinking ray to make him the scale they wanted.
This is Rob. Take me back now.
Hey, here's an idea. Instead of calling a news conference about a sea monster, why don't you call the news conference about a bunch of high schoolers that made a fucking shrinking ray? Or a giant fucking robot? Don't you think that should get some attention? Don't you think instead of just shrugging comedically, these kids should get a Nobel Prize for changing the world of science as we fucking know it? What the hell's wrong with you jelly bean-colored Simpson rejects?
Fucking people.
But I digress! Things, believe it or not, get even weirder as Roger's robot turns into a motherly housemaid. A sort of Julia Child bot, if you will.
Now, let's change her out of that beastly outfit and into something more presentable.
Okay, this idea could be salvageable if she gets in a bloody death match with Rosie from the Jetsons. I don't know how they fit in, but trust me, they couldn't make it any worse. So, because we're not done ripping off every G-movie cliché known to cinema, we now get the bit where they disguise the creature as a person, and of course, everybody falls for it.
What's her name?
It's Herman Naini.
Ah, what a beautiful name. Herman Naini.
Hey, you know what? This is really stupid.
Look at Doug with that cute girl.
Wait a minute. What?
Look at Doug with that cute girl.
Okay, alright. I can believe the boy's getting excited for the dance. I can believe the mayor not using her powers at all to prove an earth-shattering discovery. I can believe high schoolers can build a giant robot and a shrinking ray and have none of that get any media attention. But If you expect me to believe that any high school girl, mind you, will look at this deformed demon, think he's a female student, and actually verbally acknowledge that she's cute, you are on meth! I mean, my God, do you have any idea how the teenage female mind works? They will pick apart anything that is not stylized perfection. This is the species that's turning this into a cultural phenomenon. They will criticize thighs. Thighs, for God's sake! And you're seriously telling me they would call this beauty show genocide cute? You are fired from breathing. Please, pack up your desk and kindly leave live! But I digress.
Doug, I'm not gonna stand here and be lied to. I'm not blind, you know. I know who you're really spending your time with. That Hermione girl you've been hanging around with all day.
I already made a Hogwarts joke, so I'll just let this one go.
Come on, Patty, she's not even a girl.
I know you think I must be dumb because I believed all that monster stuff before, but I hope you don't think I'm that gullible, Doug.
Well, you think that? Really, Doug, you're trying to date this girl? So later that night, Bluff captures the creature and they take him away. Trying to think of something to do, Doug comes across the story that Guy is writing for the school paper.
On the screen, next week's Weekly BB. Monster destroyed. Bill Bluff a hero. We're too late. Herman's dead.
Wait, you just said it was next week. Obviously he wrote it ahead of time before it happened.
They killed Herman. This stinks.
Yeah, but it's next week's paper.
The horrible monster was blasted into smithereens, thus saving the dance organized by cool upperclassman Guy Graham.
It's next week's paper!
Night of fun turns into night of terror.
Didn't you see Tomorrow Never Dies? It's a James Bond scheme! Wake the fuck up!
Wait, the dance isn't until tonight. Of course. Guy wanted to make sure this was in next week's paper.
You mean when I said it was next week's paper, it was actually next week's paper? Oh, Guy must have known I'd be stupid enough to do whatever it is my brain just did there. So, the night of the dance comes, and nobody seems to question why security has been up to Nazi-level extremes.
We're so glad to see so many of you lovely people here tonight. We would especially like to welcome all the representatives of Illinois' law enforcement community who have chosen to join us here in the Palace Hotel Ballroom at this time. We certainly hope you all enjoy the show.
They manage to find the monster and dress up the fembot to go in posing as him. Whoa, pretty harsh on the robot there, aren't you guys?
Roger. Somebody take this. Take him.
No! I can't believe how needlessly cruel they're being to this thing. So they return the monster to the water, and Bluff has to explain himself.
Mayor Dink.
Bill, I think you should discuss your pollution problems with me.
Oh, yes, of course. Certainly.
And just like most elected officials, they come into the problem too late, do absolutely nothing to solve it, and yet somehow they take all the credit when it finally works out. You elected them, folks!
Patty? Are you okay, Patty? Herman!
But the monster comes back one more time to say goodbye after the people have left.
I forgot. I brought you something. Remember this? Herman Melville's works?
Yes, he writes about a monster in the water who people try to hunt down and kill. But don't worry, though. You'll enjoy the ending. So he goes back into the water, and we get to see our favorite character one more time before the film ends. No, not that puke stain.
There you are. Oh, you forgot your jacket.
Oh my God, I feel so sorry for this thing!
Roger.
How is it in a cast of characters this big and literally this colorful, the only one I feel any amount of emotion for is the lifeless robot? It's actually kind of hard to watch.
Roger.
Go give him his coat, robot. You have America on your side!
Patty and I danced on the dock under the moon for quite some time. I wouldn't have minded if it had gone on forever.
I'll just assume that's a fart we're ending on and call the film quits. So that was Doug's first movie. Aren't you so glad they brought that to the big screen? I mean, what was even the purpose? Nothing about it screamed cinema, so why did they even make it? As you probably guess, it suffers from the same problem that the show suffers from. It's bland and boring! I hate this movie. I hate this show. I hate everything having to do with it. And thank God this is the last thing I ever have to review having to deal with it. Because I swear, if I hear that song one more time, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it.
Fucking people.
Roger.
It's con time! From November 11th to November 13th, I'm gonna be returning to ShadowCon in Tampa, Florida. Also in November, from the 18th to the 20th, I'm gonna be at Collision Con, which is in Pheasant Run, St. Charles, right in my home state of Illinois. Go there, and I will break the fog.